All right, hello everybody, and welcome to update number 2 for the dual strike of ambidexterity, Antiquarian. My slash played is currently 1 day and 4 hours, so about 30 hours on the account. We're gonna witness it. Those are the mods. Let's get into it. Pop a delirium too, because why the heck not? So here's what the clear speed looks like. This is still on a 5 link essentially, because I have to use Ancestral Call. Because if I don't have Ancestral Call, the clear speed does not look nearly as good. It's still fine, but it's not amazing. So yeah, as you can see, we pretty much just dual strike one singular time and kill most monsters. Pop a Legion for you, show you what that looks like. Boom, that guy's already dead. Let's go over here. Go for the big explosion, watch out! Not the best Legion placement, unfortunately, but still pretty good. As you can see, we're basically just one-shotting absolutely everything. Boom, boom, boom. This also is a more monster life map, if you did not tell. So you can see we have a lot of movement speed, we have a lot of attack speed, which makes for a pretty fun clearing build inside of maps. Alright, let's do an expedition with tier 3 delirium. Again, surely not. Oh, never mind, I can't do it. I have big boom, and that's immune to chaos damage. I'll put it up here, and hopefully it doesn't hit it. It didn't hit it. Alright. We're gonna slap that on. See what happens. Looks fine to me. Looks fine to me. I think they have block nodes. The shield guys definitely block. There we go. All right, sweet. So we can do that too. All right, do I dare do a Phoenix at tier 3 delirium? I think we just hit tier 4. Yeah, okay. Phoenix at tier 4 delirium. I think that sounds like a terrible idea. What do you guys think? Get it, I'm going in, boys. Oh, he's gonna blow up. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We got him. We got him. Also, remember, this is a more monster life map. P4 delirium. So, yeah, that was a delirium, more monster life Phoenix. Yeah, that's what our single target damage looks like. Pretty good. So I am currently level 93. Again, this is about after 30 hours of playtime. I pretty much have the end game spec of this build up and going. Got the Paradoxical with crit chance and Chaos Pin. Got the offhand claw with attack speed, crit multi, and trigger a socketed spell. We're rocking Anathema. I think that's how you pronounce it, not Anathema. Anathema. So that we have 3 curses. The first one is Assassin's Mark, Mark on hit. And then the other 2 are Despair, because we're all chaos damage thanks to the Night Grip. So Despair gives us quite a bit of overall damage, and Enfeeble just helps our survivability on single targets. And then the rest of the gear is just life resistances and a spell suppress. The other very important piece, obviously, is the body armor. The higher the armor and evasion rating on the body armor specifically, the more ward we get. Right now we're sitting at 16,933. Fun fact, this Yinda stand, you can see the quality is defense. That actually does increase the amount of wards you get. You can get 110%, because normally this belt says gain ward instead of 50% of armor and evasion rating from body armor. If you put the catalyst on it, it goes up to 60%, and then you get the other 50% from the Antiquarian node right here, and this does actually work for some reason. You get 110% of this armor and evasion rating as ward, aka damage for this build, given Night Grip. So body armor, long story short, extremely important. The ward in this build is basically just for offense, because these gloves also say 75% of the damage that you take bypasses your ward completely. So basically you can think of this as just an extra 4,000 health or so against like one shots. So for defenses and hideout, currently we're sitting at about 3.4k armor. That's terrible. Obviously once I pop a granite flask, it goes up to 10.8, which is much better. So this is just for map clearing purposes. Evasion rating, same thing, 10.7k in hideout unbuffed. That's actually pretty good. Pop the flask, go up to 18k. Not too bad. I haven't spent too much on my gear overall. I sniped a lot of these pieces pretty early. I would say probably about 6 or 7 divines spent on my character thus far. So once I spend a little more, I'll work on capping my chaos res. We are capped spell suppressed though at 100%, so that's very nice. Also, just for mapping defenses, I decided to go for a Disciple of the Unyielding to gain endurance charges on kill. I did have a Frost Breath with endurance charge on stun earlier, and you do enough damage versus like regular monsters in maps that you're gonna stun them on every hit. So that generated my endurance charges before. Now I allocated this because it turns out you do actually need that extra phys mitigation with such low armor in the build. Another cool thing is that the fact that we're running Supreme Ostentation, which again, we're running that because of this node right here, 50% reduced dexterity means you need 50% more dexterity to satisfy all your requirements, which, 212 for the sword alone, that could get pretty interesting. And then furthermore, the 2 curses over here, levelings up to max, are gonna get like a 160 int requirement, something crazy. Therefore, Supreme Ostentation is pretty much required, and a fun fact about this is that you can tattoo every single node on your passive tree if you want. So right now I have some fire res res here just because I need that to cap my character. I'll replace these eventually with like percent melee damage or something. And then over here we have a 10% chance to avoid being chilled and frozen. We have 10 of them, so we cannot be chilled and cannot be frozen. Another big change with the passive tree here is the allocation of these nodes here. Now I don't actually need the mana leech nodes. Eventually I'll go for these life ones. I just don't have any other source of attack mana leech at this point. But the 10% of leech is instant mod helps greatly with survivability in maps. We're leeching about, I think, 800 per second. So 10% of that being instant means we're getting about 80 life per hit, and we're attacking, you know, like 7 times per second. So that's quite a bit of life recovery per second. Finally, the last major change here is deciding to run Determination and Grace for my 2 auras instead of Skitterbot's Flesh and Stone and Arctic Armor. Those are just, quite frankly, too situational. These are always active, always giving me their benefits, so I figured we're going to go with that. Also, there is a world where I take Iron Reflexes, just go all armor, no evasion, but I'll think about that when I get there. So the next big step for me personally is to upgrade my cluster jewels. As you can see, we have an 8 passive cluster, but only 2 of the actual passive skills on there, which means my quick and deadly is all the way over here. Poor guy. You normally want your first 2 passives right here to be the ones that you're taking, and then you just ignore the one in the back, so it only takes 5 passive points to get 2 notables plus 2 jewel sockets. Instead, right now I'm spending 5 passive points just for 2 notables and 1 jewel socket, so pretty inefficient. So we're going to upgrade this cluster jewel, and then over here I actually have a 9 passive skill, which is even worse. So I'm spending 6 passives over here to get over to quick and deadly. So long story short, I'll optimize the tree a little bit more once I get better cluster jewels, and I level up, you know, a couple more levels. And I guess the very last thing would be here. Eventually I will run a Thread of Hope, which allows me to, which basically gives me a big ring like this, and I can allocate nodes inside of that ring. I think a very large ring, not a massive, maybe a massive, hits both of these nodes, this node, that node, maybe even Bravery as well, and then probably like one other decent node, like the Leech node over here. So Thread of Hope is going to be very, very, very high value node, I think, for me. All right, that's about it. You can check out my stream at twitch.tv/Woolie Gaming if you want to see me min-max this build and take it even further beyond. I'm just kidding. All right, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.